welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Carolera, and today I'm going to be reviewing a story called Anna Karenina. I will be reviewing the book and three of its several adaptations. The book was published in 1870 and it was written by Leo Tolstoy. And the movies I'm going to be talking about are the following. The one from 1987, 2012, and 1948. The one from 1987 stars Sophie Marceau, Sean Bean, Alfred Molina, James Fox, Fiona Shaw, Danny Huston, Philida Law, Justine Waddell, among others. And it's my favorite one. The one from 2012 stars Keira Knightley, Jude Law, Alicia Vikander, Donald Gleason, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Matthew McFadden, Kelly MacDonald, Ruth Wilson, Olivia Williams, and Emily Watson. Finally, the one from 1948 stars Vivian Lee and Ralph Richardson. Oh, and before I begin though, let me just say that this will be a video with spoilers, so beware. I first discovered Anna Karenina thanks to the 1997 adaptation, which is in part why it's my favorite. I was in my teens, I was discovering all of these amazing classics, and the story of Anna Karenina instantly gripped my attention. I was fascinated by the love story of Anna Bronsky, and I bought the book years ago, though it took me quite a long time to get around to reading it. My best friend once told me that Anna Karenina was his favorite book, but I still didn't feel it was time for me to get into it. In 2018 though, after years of loving this story, I thought it was high time I gave the book a chance. Because seriously, I can't say that I love classics without ever having read Tolstoy. And since I don't really like the plot of War and Peace, I wanted Anna Karenina to be my first Tolstoy. Anyways, I recently also saw this panel on YouTube where scholars debated who was a better novelist, Dickens or Tolstoy. Famous actors like Tom Hiddleston recreated scenes from several of the novels these authors had written to prove their points. And I guess that also helped me finally decide I wanted to read it to really get what they were talking about, because I only read Dickens, not Tolstoy. And also because I love history and the Russian Empire, particularly from Alexander II to Nicholas II, his grandson. And since Anna Karenina is set around the time of their reigns, I wanted a new look into Russian aristocracy outside of the royal family. I didn't find the fact that the book is quite long daunting, but I was a little bit afraid because several people had told me that they got a bit bored with the bits where the character of Levin appears, and since Levin is a sort of reflection of the author, I didn't want to find myself in the same position, but still, it was time that I read it. This book has two protagonists. One of them is Anna Karenina and the other one is Konstantin Levin. Anna is this beautiful rich lady who is unhappily married to a man twice her age. When a dashing officer enters her life and falls in love with her, Anna's world is rocked upside down. We follow her as she has to decide whether she will let her life continue as it has, with respectability but without love, or if she will cast everything aside, including her son, in order to give into the passion Count Vronsky inspires in her. The story of Levin is interesting because growing up, all I cared about was Anna's tale. But the older I get, the more I am drawn to Levin's story and the more I appreciate it. Levin is this young man of a respectable family who prefers to live in the country. He's in love with Princess Kitty, but because of several factors, things don't initially go that well for them. I don't want to spoil what happens with him to you all, so I'll just say that we follow him as his heart is broken, as he escapes to the country to get better, where we get an idea of what working with peasants was like in Russia after the liberation of the serfs, and then we see Levin as he tries to find meaning in life. Because of certain characters and key events, the lives of Anna and Levin are intermixed, and in the end they are both seeking love above all else. And it's interesting to see how society condemned one for its gender, while the other one has more options at his disposal to deal with when you find yourself in the situation of wanting love above all. Many have said that Anna Karenina is the best novel ever written. And while it is not in my favorite top 10 books, I am in awe of it. I think it's perfect and I give it a 5 out of 5 stars review, definitely, without a hesitation. And I can't believe it took me this long to read it. I don't really know what I was expecting, but I found it to be quite an easy read. And it isn't only because I know the story so well, but because the writing style is very easy to understand. Even the parts with Levin I found interesting, in part because, as I said, I like the Tsars of Russia, and I like to see what the people of that country were thinking regarding the decisions of the Tsars, again, like the liberation of the serfs. Also, Nabokov, the author of the famous book Lolita, wrote some stuff about Tolstoy's works, and I want to check his piece of Anna Karenina as soon as possible. And I don't know, in the end, it's really exciting to think that I've known and loved this story so much, and yet now that I've read the book, there's just all this new world that I can explore regarding this story. There's just such a new depth of material and analysis of characters that I can make and of their situations and reactions to things. And I'm sure there are tons of courses and classes for these. And moving on, reviewing its adaptations. As I've already mentioned, the one from 1997 is my favorite. The cast is spot on, and I like the look of it and the way it captured my imagination as a teenager. And it's really cool to remember how I used to think about certain characters and their decisions and their actions when I was a teenager, and now that I'm older, those thoughts have changed. But yeah, I was picturing the actors from the 1997 and the 2000 version as I read the book, particularly Levin. I began thinking of him as Alfred Molina, and then at the end I was kind of thinking of him as Donald Gleason, but all the others I think they were from the 1997 version. Talking about the one from 1948, the main reason why I really like it, because Vivien Leigh is one of my two favorite actresses in all the world. She's most famous for her role as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, my favorite book, my favorite movie, my favorite female character, my favorite love story, anyways. And Vivien Leigh plays Anna Karenina in the 40s version. And while Vivien was just such an elegant lady, that it's not hard to imagine her as this rich Russian aristocratic lady. Also, the man who plays her husband, Rolf Richardson, he was a really famous actor, so I like the dynamic between them. Finally, as to the 2012 version, when I first saw it, I didn't really like it. With time, this has changed, and I can appreciate it more. It has a wonderful cast, it looks beautiful, and once you get over the fact that almost everything happens inside a theater, you can start appreciating other things about it. But for some reason, I get the feeling that although I love Keira Knightley in period dramas, she was a bit too young to have played Anna Karenina back in 2012. I think she ought to have waited some years, because even though it's not really stated in the books, Vronsky's age and Anna's, maybe it is, I just can't remember it at present. I've always had the feeling, maybe because of the way Sean Bean looked in the 1987 version, that Vronsky was either the same age as Anna or a bit older, but in the 2000 version, the actor is younger than Keira Knightley, and he does look younger than her as well. And that meant that for me, the whole dynamic between Anna and Vronsky changed. Because it's different to think of Vronsky as a vain young man in his early 20s pursuing an older married woman, to a Vronsky who is more experienced, maybe even a little bit tired of the life he has led, and who is not bothered by the fact that he will settle down with Anna once things calm down regarding their torrid love affair. If he is older, I get the feeling that he deliberates more and is less rash in his actions. And the same applies to Anna. If she lets herself be swept off by her feet by a younger man with a reputation, that tells a whole different story than if her lover is her same age or older than her. For the moment though, this is all I have to say about Anna Karenina. Thank you very much for watching my review of it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you did or if you didn't. In the description box below you can find a link to the book's Goodreads page and links to the IMDB pages for the 1997, 2012, and 1948 versions. There are several other adaptations about Anna Karenina that I wish to see one day, particularly the ones with Greta Garbo from 1927, the 1985 version with Jacqueline Bisset and Christopher Reeve, and the 2017 Russian adaptation that imagines a confrontation between Vronsky and Anna's son many years after the book ends. Anyways, I'm Carolina, the Mental Traveler, and I wish you a wonderful day wherever you're in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.